Welcome back to Runeverse. I'm Andrew, and in this video I'm going to be playing this prototype version on Tabletop Simulator of Skytear Horde. So Skytear Games, previously PvP Geeks, made a game called Skytear, which I do have but haven't played very much of. I do want to play more, including they have a single player mode, which I could try out as well. But here they're coming out with a new game called Skytear Horde, which will be on Kickstarter later in January 2022. It's not launched yet, but I wanted to take a look at it. They put up this module and we'll see. So I'm just going to jump right into it pretty much here. So the first thing that I need to do, I've already set up the game. I drew my opening hand, and I'm going to look at this gate here, and you can see it says we're on stage 1, and the top left corner number there is a 1, which means there's going to be one card that comes out of this Horde deck here. So, and every turn we're going to rotate it, and then now there's a different number. Well, if I zoom in, it zooms in right side up. But you can see here, this number here is now on the top left, and then this one is the top left number 2, and then we get a little bit of a reprieve with the zeros. So the first thing we're going to do is flip a card here and put it on the leftmost space. And here, let's see, we got snipers. It says play, summon 2 red minions, and snipers deals 2 damage to the most wounded ally unless a player has cards from their hand. There are no allies, pillage 3. Okay, so we're going to summon 2 red minions, which means we're going to go up here to the minions section. We'll see more about how the minions work later, but we're just going to put 2 red minions here on the red minions card for now. And we have to pillage 3 cards, so we'll go over here to our deck. So here, this is our deck. This is where I've drawn my opening hand from. This is our castle card, which has got 20 health, which is represented by this die here. And if that 20 runs out, we lose. Also, if this deck runs out, we lose. And speaking of the deck running out, we're getting pillaged for 3 right now, which means I would take 3 cards off the top of my deck and put it into the pillage pile. We don't get to see what those are. They're just gone. So we do have this ability that we have action, pay a mana, and your weakest ally and a horde monster fight each other. I played a game and I didn't use that ability at all. Could just be my oversight, or I wasn't thinking about that. So I'm still getting used to the game. I did play one sample game. But we'll see if we get to use that this time. And then this snipers is done. So this is just a spell, so we've finished resolving it and we can put it over here. And now we can play our turn. So a lot of times there would be a monster, or a lot of times. In my previous game there was a monster that comes out and it would be in this position at this point. But fortunately, I guess we don't have anything there. But we do have a lot of minions to worry about. So we also have 4 mana that we can spend here to play from our hand. And we have that amount of mana because this gate card is giving us +4. That's how much we have available down there in the bottom left. Now I guess I should take a moment and talk about our winning and losing conditions. I mentioned if we run out of health on our castle, we lose. If we run out of cards in our deck, we lose. At the end of the round, every minion up here that's left up here uninhibited is going to pillage us. So that's currently 3, 4, 5, 6 minions. So we would lose 6 cards off the top of our deck unless we deal with those. And if there were monsters in these lanes that we didn't deal with, we didn't block them, they would damage us directly to our castle. So those are our 2 lose conditions. Meanwhile, we want to have allies in our lanes and have them be uninhibited so that they can damage the gate. And so that's this gate health over here. Now there are 3 gate cards. There's this 6 health gate, and then there's this 8 health gate, and underneath that is the basically the big boss. So once we've defeated the second gate, the big boss is going to come out, and we need to defeat the boss to win. And the boss is going to be cards that come out into these lanes. It's a pair of cards that work together, so I can just put them out here. So basically it's a pair of cards that form one piece of art there. They're going to lock into place. But so this is the betrayed, and this is what we need to defeat. He's got 8 health, but if there are any other undead around, he's not going to die until we deal with those undead. So let's just play something from our hand. We can't afford the 5, or the 7, so we can play either the shamans, which would heal our castle, which isn't really relevant, and they're not going to be lasting very long because they only have 2 health, and they don't hit very hard. So let's play the Clan of the Wood. It actually seems like a pretty good play for the beginning of the game. They have 3 attack and 3 health. And since they will have no neighbors, they'll get +1 armor. So we can put them out, and we can just have them deal with these red minions if we want, which I think makes sense. Otherwise, we're just basically what we're going to do at this point is we're going to choose, do we want to take a minion with 1 token on it in which case it's going to deal 1 damage to our Clan of the Wood, which will be reduced because of the armor, and it will deal 3 damage back, which is complete overkill to get rid of that 1 minion. Or do we want to fight the red minions, and it's going to deal 3 damage, take out all 3 minions, but we're going to take 2 damage in return. Again, would be 3, but we have the armor. So I think let's go for the red minions. It's just a more impactful play. Our Clan of the Wood's going to take some more damage, and we'll pay the 3 mana for that. Now, the problem is, now that we've kind of locked in our turn, that's all we're going to do on our first turn, we do have to reveal a treachery card, and that could mess us up. So let's see. So at this point, we're just looking at the star there on the left hand of the artwork, and then that's a little asterisk that tells us to read the treachery effect at the bottom there that says, if the boosted monster is engaged, move it to the rightmost empty lane. Okay, so what that means is, because it's on the left, we're going to be talking about the leftmost monster. So there's only one monster in anyway. So it's talking about the leftmost monster is the boosted monster. And it is engaged, so it moves to the rightmost empty lane. So it's going to jump all the way over to here, which isn't what we wanted, but I guess it's okay. So now what happens is we actually resolve the combat, and our Clan of the Wood is unopposed, so it's going to do 3 damage directly to the gate. And these red minions are unopposed, so they're going to do 3 damage directly to our castle. I guess I could have used the Gaping Maw to have our monster fight. No, it only applies to horde monsters, so that's an interesting distinction. It says, and a horde monster fight each other. This is not a horde monster, it's an elite monster, or a minion. It is not a horde monster. So the other monsters in this deck, for example, these Shade Hounds, you can see it is a horde monster. So the Gaping Maw would not work on that. So we took 3. And now what happens basically at the end here is we get pillaged for the minions outside of the lane. So there are 3 minions outside the lanes. So we lose 3 cards here. And then the minions return to their lane. So this red minions, actually they leave and they go back out here. We'll have to try to engage with them again later on. We discard down to 7 cards. We rotate the gate. And now we will again start a new phase of gaining mana, so we'll get 4 more. Ready our exhausted cards, which we didn't do any of that yet. And summon new horde cards. So let's see what we get. Is an Oni champion, so we're here in round 2. It says if it's engaged with an ally, it gets +2 armor. And after he damages the castle, he pillages 2 cards. So it's an interesting new challenge. And you'll also note I didn't draw any cards. You don't draw any cards until you defeat a monster. So if you defeat a monster, you get to draw a card. And then this gate here says if it's destroyed, we draw a card. But otherwise, we're not drawing any cards. So we got to work with what we got. We do have 5 mana now because we only spent 3 of our 4 last turn. So we can afford to play a Clan of the Bear. Another thing we can do is move. So I think what we're going to do is move the Clan of the Wood here and play the Clan of the Boar down there. And now we have a 4/4 to fight the 3/3, although they're both actually going to survive because of the Oni Champion's fight effect, which we'll see. At least hopefully that's how it will play out. We got no mana left. We do want to clear out these minions. So unfortunately, the Clan of the Wood cannot get its armor anymore because when we pull a minion, we can't, for example, if we wanted him to be here to have no neighbors, and then pull the minion here, we're actually not allowed to do that. When we pull a minion down, we have to pull it to the leftmost available lane. So the Clan of the Wood has to be here if we want them to fight each other. We could do this, but as soon as we pull that minion in and then leave the lane, the minion goes back. So it's not going to just hang out. If we want it to fight us, we have to fight it. We can't just say, I would rather take damage to my castle than pillaging from the minions. We got to fight them with allies. So we can trade the Clan of the Wood for the red minions at this point. Or if we want to preserve our allies at this point, we might want to pull a different color minion. So we could pull a yellow minion in, and we're going to get pillaged for more, but at least we won't be taking that. We won't be losing the minion. So maybe let's try that and see how it goes here. So we do have to flip a treachery, and we get the snipers. A player discards a card from their hand. So that's tough. So the Clan of the Bear Boar is expensive. The Tuscan Warrior is really expensive. But I'd love to be able to get it out eventually. But it might not make sense to kind of hang on to that. So let's lose the 7 cost card, unfortunately. And then the Oni Champion's fight effect comes into play. It says if it's engaged with an ally, it gets +2 armor for the remainder of the turn, so the first 2 damage to him is going to be prevented. If he hits the castle, we pillage 2. That's not going to happen. So we're going to exchange damage here. We're going to deal 4 damage here, but it's going to be reduced by the 2 armor. Then deal 2, and then the Oni Champion deals 3 to the Clan of the Bear. And unfortunately, that fight effect won't take place. Clan of the Wood gets its fight effect that does nothing happen, so we're going to deal 3 damage, which is enough to take out this. That actually counts as taking out a monster, so we do get to draw a card. And we do take 1 damage in return. And now we're going to get pillaged for 5, unfortunately. Okay, down to 23 cards in our deck, and that's the end of round 2. Alright, so we can rotate again, and now we're going to have 2 cards coming out at us. We get 4 more mana, and let's see what comes out from the Horde deck here. We got a spell and a monster. So we summon 2 red minions, and it deals the damage to the castle. If there are 4 more red minions, it deals 3 damage instead. Ooh, so yeah, the red minions are getting out of control here, and we did let that get a little bit crazy. So we're now taking 3 damage to our castle, huh? So then that goes to the discard, and this minion says if we fight it, it deals 1 damage to the creature engaged with them, and if they're not engaged, they deal 2 damage to the castle, and when they're destroyed, they leave behind one of these skeleton tokens that don't let us draw a card for beating them. So then after that spell's gone, then the ranks close up and slide to the left here, and this is what we've got. So I'm going to try something a little weird I think works within the rules, which is I'm going to pull this to here and bring in a minion. And now the Clan of the Wood doesn't have any allies, or neighbors rather. So we're going to use the Gaping Maw, pay 1, and have our weakest ally fight a Horde monster. So we're going to pay 1 and have it fight the Revenant Fusiliers. Its effect lets it deal 1 damage to the creature it fights, which is going to deal 1 damage, but then the Clan of the Wood's fight effect gives it an armor. So now when they actually strike each other, the Fusiliers don't do any damage to the Clan of the Wood. Clan of the Wood will deal 3 damage back. Take that out, puts a skeleton in play, and we draw another card. We've drawn Gulbjarn, which is one of our heroes, and I'd love to be able to bring him out. It's a very powerful card, it looks like. Last game I played, I had Korjov, who's also very powerful, but in a very different way, so it'd be cool to try him out if we get a chance to get to 6 or 7 mana. But right now we just have 3, so we can play another Clan of the Wood or the Shamans, but that's about it. And it might be worth playing the Shamans to start building up a little bit more mana. So we get to restore 2 health, and then we can use an action, which we just slide it down and we get a mana here. And that's all we have to do. He still gets to fight and everything. It's just to show that we can only do that once per turn. And we can pull this minion down here. So we're still letting the red minions go out of control. We're going to lose the Clan of the Boar against the Oni Champion here, but they will trade. And then our castle is going to take 1 damage. I'd love to keep the Clan of the Boar around, but it's only got 1 health left, so it can't really do much of anything unless we just have it strike at the gate. But because its trample effect would hit the gate, maybe we can actually just swap. Rather than doing individual moves, you can just swap them directly. Now the Clan of the Wood will still trade with the Oni Champion, and the Clan of the Boar can trample over the minion for 3. That does put us on the second stage of the gate, whereas if we keep this gate out, we get a little bit of a reprieve turn. So it might make sense not to rush things. Another option is we can move this back here, which means the blue minions retreat, and then we can pull the red minions in by putting him here back, and now we can do 4 damage, take out 4 of those red minions. So we won't trample over the gate, and we won't get to draw a card for defeating the monster minions here, but we would take out 4 of the red minions and prevent some of the pillaging from happening. So this is very much a puzzle. I'm trying to figure out, is there a way that I can get the Clan of the Wood by themselves against a 1 attack monster? So I'm fighting the skeleton token, for example. The Clan of the Wood wouldn't have to die if it doesn't have any neighbors. But is there any way to get it? I mean, it doesn't have any neighbors now, but against the Oni Champion, it's going to be taking a lot of damage anyway, so the armor won't really help it. So I do wonder if there's some puzzly scenario where I can manipulate the rules and get him by himself. But I think I'm just going to move forward with this. So let's go ahead and see what treachery we get, which is going to be 2 damage on the rightmost thing here. So unfortunately, the green minions are going to go from 1 attack up to 3 attack, and they're going to be able to kill the shamans. So that is disappointing here, but we do still resolve from left to right. So the Oni champion fight effect first. If it is engaged with an ally, it gets +2 armor. The Clan of the Wood doesn't get any armor, and then they exchange damage. So the 3 is reduced down to 1, which will take out the Oni champion here. So we'll discard that. We get to draw a card, but our Clan of the Wood is defeated. Then here, the skeleton token is going to deal 1 to our castle. The red minions don't have a fight effect. The Clan of the Bear does. If it destroys something, it gets a permanent attack, and it has trample, but that won't come into play. We're just going to take out 4 of these red minions, and then the Clan of the Boar is defeated. And then here, unfortunately, the green minions got +2, so they're going to deal 3 to our shamans. Oh, shamans get to deal 1 damage back, which is enough to take out the green minions, and we get to draw a card for that. So our board got wiped, unfortunately. Now again, we do have a bit of a reprieve, so we're going to get pillaged for 1 by the blue minion here. The red minions are not outside the lane, so we get just for 1. And then the red minions do return, and we rotate the gate and go to the next round, so we're going to get 4 more mana. And now we have 6, which is nice, and we're going to bring out 0 cards. So that symbol here, due to our rotation, we're now getting 0 new cards, which is a nice little bit of a reprieve. So we can afford to play Gulbjarn here. We won't be able to use his ability, his action, to pay mana. But if I play him, he and a monster in his lane will fight immediately. So I can take out the skeleton token. I'm not sure if we're allowed to take out a minion immediately necessarily. Engage minions, either move or play an ally in the leftmost lane without monsters. So I guess we could just play him here and have that be engaging a minion and then fight it. Or we can just leave this skeleton. Yeah, I might rather have him. I don't know if it really matters. But yeah, let's play Gulbjarn. That's going to take all 6 of our mana. And we will pull a minion in. Let's pull the blue one. And immediately they fight. So going to deal 1, and Gulbjarn takes 1, which does defeat the blue minion, so we get to draw a card. And then the question is, do we want to move him to the skeleton token, or perhaps pull the red minions in? One thing about destroying the gate is it does increase our mana generation, so I might just let him take out the gate here so that we start getting more mana. So let's go ahead and proceed like this. So we will resolve this here. This is going to go down to 0, which destroys the gate. And we put that down on the bottom, and we now have this new gate. So that card previously, when it was destroyed, we do draw a card. And now this is going to be our new thing for starting in the next round. So we'll draw 1 for destroying the gate. And the skeleton token is going to hit us for 1. And then we've got 1 minion to pillage us. I did skip my treachery. Let's see what that was. So pillage 1 card. So we get pillaged again here. Okay, so that was a very quick round, pretty much. And now I don't know if we're supposed to rotate this now. We just destroyed it. So I'm going to say we start on the first one here. So we're going to go ahead and go into the next round, gaining 5 mana this time. And then we can ready our exhausted card, summon a horde, and see. So we're going to do 1 here, and we get the Revenant Cavalry. So it's a 3 attack and 1 health, and if it's destroyed, it gets a skeleton. So it's a pretty simple card there. And then we can start our phase here and see what we want to do. Oops, I should set this gate health to 8 here as well. I think I want to play the Clan of the Boar here again. So we got another one of those, and we're going to pull the red minion down in with it so we can trample over and start using that fight effect to get a bigger and bigger attack value. Plus, we're going to be taking down the gate. And Gulbjarn can fight this Revenant Cavalry. He's going to put some damage on him. Actually, put him down to 1 away from lethal, which is... I'm not too excited about that. I might rather just take that 3 and let Gulbjarn take out this skeleton token, for example. Well, you know what? I can just swap them here and do it that way. And Clan of the Boar will still trample over, but Golbjorn doesn't have to take the damage. I mean, I want the Clan of the Boar to survive as well, but Golbjorn is a lot more valuable. So let's do that and see what treachery we get. And it's just going to be 1 attack to the unit on the left, which means the Revenant Cavalry has 4. So I'm glad we didn't lose Golbjorn out of that, but we are now going to unfortunately lose the Clan of the Boar. We do still get to trample though, so Revenant Cavalry is going to deal 4 to the clan, and the clan is going to deal 1 to the cavalry and 3 to the gate, putting it down to 5. He's dead. We did kill the minion, so we get to draw 1, and the minion has the ability to make another skeleton here. So this skeleton hits us for 1. We get a 13, and Golbjorn can trade damage here with the red minions, which means this is done. That monster is defeated, and we get to draw another card there. And then there are no minions to pillage us, which is nice. Minions return to their lane, and yeah, we can go into the next round here. So we'll get rotate this to 2 and draw 5 mana. All right, and now we need to pull 2 of these Horde cards. We got another Revenant Cavalry and Shade Hunters. So this one says, after an ally destroys a Shade Hunter's neighbor, Shade Hunters and that ally strike each other. So kind of gets into a little fight with anything that kills its allies. Plus it's a 4/4 with armor. And then in the top left corner you can see that +1 symbol. That means we actually get an extra mana for having to face this slightly tougher monster. Alright, so I'm going to put Golbjorn here against the Shade Hunters. I'm going to play Clan of the Falcon over here. And I'm going to play Cloud Terrors here. And I'm going to use the action of the Clan of the Falcon to give a Horde monster -1 attack, a debuff. So I'm going to put that on the Shade Hunter. So now it has 3 attack. Oh, and actually now I should play the Cloud Terrors. I did that a little bit out of order. So now I play the Cloud Terrors to stun a Horde monster with attack 3 or less. So stun means it's rotated 180 degrees, and it's not going to deal any damage. So basically the stun means after the fight in its lane resolved, rotate it back, but it has 0 attack and is not affected by attack modifiers. So that 0 attack is going to be pretty relevant here. Then we're going to use the action of the Cloud Terrors to deal a damage to itself and to a monster. So we're going to do that, put 1 here, and then we'll put 1 on the skeleton token to take that off the table. And we did have to spend 2 for the Clan of the Falcon and 4 for the Cloud Terror, so that's all 6 of our mana. And now we can go ahead and resolve the Treachery. So we summon a red minion, that's fine. So we'll just put 1 out here. And now the skeleton token is going to fight the Clan of the Falcon, so that's 1 damage here, and take the skeleton out. Nothing happens in the second lane here. Cloud Terrors and the cavalry will fight each other, and they'll both die. That means we're going to get another skeleton. I guess I'll just go to the leftmost spot, and the Cloud Terrors go away. But we do get to draw a card for killing the Revenant. And that ability of the Shade Hunters will trigger after an ally destroys a Shade Hunter's neighbor. Shade Hunters and that ally strike each other. But not only is it already dead, but the Shade Hunters is stunned, so it has 0 attack. And now Golbjorn will fight the Shade Hunters. Again, the Shade Hunter still has 0 attack. And it's going to deal 0 to Golbjorn. Golbjorn will deal 5, and the armor will prevent 1 of that. So Shade Hunters takes 4 damage and is also destroyed, which means we get to draw 1 card. So that went pretty well. We do get pillage for 1 from that red minion. And then we can rotate the gate, and we're now doing another 2. And we can get our 5 mana and see what we get here. Okay, an Oni Horde and a Shade Coven. So Oni Horde says 3 attack and 4 health. Fight gets +1 attack for each neighbor. It does have 2 neighbors, but that fight effect won't kick in until its lane starts to resolve. So if we kill the skeleton token first, it will only get 1 from the Shade Coven neighbor. And then the Shade Coven is kind of tough to kill. After a Shade Coven neighbor is destroyed, it gets +1 health, and it has an armor. So if the Oni Horde dies, it's going to go up to 4 health, and on top of that, it has an armor to prevent some damage. So get to refresh this ally and see what we can do with our 5 mana. One thing to be thinking about is that we do want to build up an attacking force that's kind of going to be big enough to not only survive a first wave of the big guy coming out, but he's going to bring some skeletons with him, and we want to be able to take out those skeletons as well as still having enough mana and allies to then take out the big guy himself. So I think I'm going to go a little bit crazy here. Let's see how this goes out. I'm going to play Clan of the Wood. I'm going to use the Clan of the Falcon. I will pay for that Clan of the Wood here. Clan of the Falcon's ability is going to give a debuff on these skeletons here. And I'm going to pay 1 mana to use Golbjorn's action to give a +1 health as well as, +1 health and a +1 strength onto the Clan of the Wood. So they are 4/4s now. They don't get their armor because they do have a neighbor here. But I think I'm allowed to move Golbjorn to here to just because totally open area here. And that means the Clan of the Wood will have no neighbors. And let's see how this plays out. We do have to flip a Treachery, which is going to give +1 attack to the leftmost monster there. So that skeleton cancels out there. So it is going to be able to hit back the Clan of the Falcon for 1 damage, which isn't what we wanted. So it's going to take out the skeleton and the clan here. The Oni Horde is unblocked, so we're going to take 3 damage +1 for its neighbor. So that's 4 damage to our castle, going down to 9. And then the Shade Coven didn't have a neighbor destroyed. It does have armor, but we're going to be hitting for 4. So armor 1 will prevent 1, go down to 3. Take out the Shade Coven, which is dealing 3 back. But we do have armor, so we just take 2. So we lose this plus health and take 2 wounds onto the clan. The Shade Coven is destroyed, which means we get to draw 1 card. And then Golbjorn is attacking straight through for 5, and that's going to take out the gate here. Now, sorry, I should read that card here. It says, when it's destroyed, draw a card and summon the outsider. So this is, we're not going to need that anymore, and we're summoning the outsider. So this is going to be coming into play at the beginning of next round. This effect doesn't really happen right now, but we are summoning the outsider, which we looked at early on here. Oops, there we go. So that comes into the first leftmost area where 2 cards can fit adjacent to each other. So these are now considered to be 1 big monster. These 2 cards in 2 lanes is 1 monster. So the X is going to be equal to the number of monsters on the battlefield, which is currently 3, or I guess it counts as 1, so just be 2. But when we play it, we immediately summon 3 skeletons. So it's going to be, I guess, a 4 attack. Or I don't know if this is meant to be 2 separate monsters, but I think it's meant to be a single monster. Let's check out the rules here. I think it's in this section. Outsiders considered 2 monsters sharing an attack and health. Okay, so it is counting as 2 monsters. So it's a 6 attack monster for now. And then this card says that if it's destroyed, if there are 2 or more undead monsters, I assume it's other than itself, destroy the 2 weakest ones, and this comes back. So we've got to get it down to maybe he can have 1 little friend, but not 2 little friends, or he's just going to come back. And the other undead monsters get +1/+0, and that's going to be all of them, I believe. So that's our new situation. We do get pillaged for 1 from this red minion, putting us down to 8 cards. Got a nice little hand here, and then we can go to the next round where we're going to get 6 mana. We can ready Golbjorn and summon a Horde card. So now we're going to summon 1, but because we don't have any spaces, we have to just put it in this stack. And now you can see summon all cards in the Horde, in the Outsiders pile at the end of the Horde phase. So if we do clear out some of these spaces, we'll summon from the deck as normal, but any extra spaces will come from this stack that we're kind of filling up now that we're full. And now we can try to figure out what we want to do on our turn. So 4 attack here could take out this Oni Horde, which is nice. Or if we were somehow able to take out all 3 skeletons and the Betrayed this turn, or rather we'd have to take out the skeletons before we take out the Betrayed, and since the Betrayed is farther to the left, that would be slightly tricky. But this deck does have some ways to do some stuff, so let me look at what we've got. So let me try this. We put the Clan of the Wood in front of the Oni Horde. It's going to be hitting for 6, because of its own effect plus the Betrayed's bonus to undead monsters. That doesn't matter because it's just it's going to kill him anyway. And he's going to deal 4 back, which does take him out. We can put Golbjorn here in front of the Betrayed. Either of these 2 spaces is fine. And well, I guess this space is slightly better because this would attack straight through and hit our castle. So we might want to block, have it, strike here first, and maybe we can even take him out on this third lane, triggering here. But in order to do that, we are going to need to take out 2 of these skeletons in addition to this Oni horde. So let's put the Clan of the Elk over here. That's going to cost 3 of our mana. And she's a 2/4 ally. We can discard a card from our hand to give an ally plus attack and plus health. I don't think that matters, but we can remove any number of attack and our health tokens from an ally to add a mana for each one. Remove this away. Again, I don't think any of that matters. I'm going to do it just because I can. I'm going to discard that, use her action to give an ally plus attack and health. And let's just have it be the Clan of the Wood. Again, I don't think it matters. We're going to use Golbjorn's ability. We're going to pay 1 here, and he's going to gain an attack and a health. So he's now a 6/5 with 1 damage on him, so 6/4 basically. And that was his action. And we've got 3 mana left. Let's go ahead and see how this goes. So we're going to flip 1 treachery here, which is the boosted monster is engaged, move it to the rightmost empty lane. So the boosted monster is the leftmost one in this case, which is the skeleton token. It is engaged, but there are no empty lanes, so nothing will happen here. The skeleton token will fight the Clan of the Elk, so we're going to take 1 damage here, and the skeleton is removed. Then for the Clan of the Wood versus the Oni horde, its fight effect comes into play. Oh, this should be actually a 2nd damage here because of the +1 damage from the betrayed. But the Oni horde is going to be 3, 4, 5 damage against Clan of the Wood, which was definitely going to take it out. And we're going to deal 3, 4, 5 damage back and take out the Oni horde, which means we get to draw a card. Let's clean this up. And I should have done this. There's a window in between the treachery and before any lanes start resolving where you can play lightning effects. So actually I'm going to play the Speak with the Spirits in that window. So this is before the Clan of the Elk and the Skeleton fought. But I'm going to play Speak with the Spirits for 2 mana. And its effect is to choose 2, an ally gets +2 attack, an ally gets +2 health, and restore 3 health to the castle. So I guess I'll restore 3 health to the castle, go back up to 12, and give Golbjorn +2 more attack, which brings him up to 8 attack. And so now when they strike each other, Golbjorn is going to hit the betrayed for 8, which is its health. Oh, I forgot one more step. I need to rewind my turn again here. But this is all fair. This is only my 2nd game. So Golbjorn is going to take how much? Well, let's rewind. Let's pause and pretend that I did the Escaping Maw effect earlier. Pay a mana. Your weakest ally and a horde monster fight each other. So we can have one of these skeletons fight against the Clan of the Elk, which I guess would mean she's dead. I could have had her pump herself so she wouldn't be dead, but I won't mess around too much with the past. But just suffice to say, we use the Gaping Maw to have our Clan of the Elk fight one of those skeletons. She could have survived if we'd used her ability on herself, but it doesn't matter because now Golbjorn is fighting the betrayed. And Golbjorn is going to be destroyed as well because he's taking, let's see, how much his base attack value is equal to the number of monsters on the battlefield, so 3. So he's hitting Golbjorn. Actually, Golbjorn is going to survive. He's only taking 3 damage here, so he's got 4 total damage. He's 1 health remaining, and the betrayed is going to be defeated. And it does have this defeated effect, which is if there are 2 or more undead monsters, destroy the 2 weakest undead monsters and resummon the betrayed, but there's only 1 undead monster. So we win. Golbjorn survives. He was our hero here. That was a pretty good game. That was definitely much easier than the first time I played, the first round I played. Hopefully I got most of the rules right, other than obviously missequencing a lot of that last turn there. But I'd kind of figured out what I wanted to do, and I just started doing it in the wrong order. But yeah, the first time I played, I did not realize that defeating a monster could draw you a card. So I was I was having to struggle a lot with the minions, and I did get decked by that. But I ran out of cards, and it was pretty bad. So I had nothing left to play. But anyway, that's not the rule. So the rule is if you defeat the minions are treated as a monster if you defeat them in a fight or defeat them. They you do get to draw the card. If you just take off a bunch of minions, as you saw earlier when I had the boars take off 4 of the red minions, but they didn't actually take out the complete stack of minions, so you don't get to draw a card for that. You just kind of reduce the stack of minions there. So that was a pretty fun game. So I like the puzzly aspect of it, trying to figure out where you can move around. I think the rules are still in flux, and it'd be nice to see, exactly some of that stuff pinned down. I'm sure they'll figure that out. Some of the rules text was a little bit wonky as well. But again, this is a prototype. It looks great. Obviously, the graphic design and artwork seem pretty done, at least from what they've presented here. I played one of the 4 factions, I believe, that will be on the Kickstarter against one of the 4 or so enemy factions that will be available. And there's some other gameplay modes that they're going to be showing off as well. So thanks for watching. Check out the Kickstarter if you're interested. I'll put a link in the description to the preview page or the campaign when or if it's live, depending on when this video goes up. So subscribe so we can get more subscribers, and bye.